Hello everybody, thank you so much for clicking on this video, you wonderful creative geniuses that you are. So today we're going to work on this abstract floral. It's a reference from my inspiration book that I made a few videos back, and it's not supposed to be representational, it's just inspiration. I'm not going flower for flower here, it's just the inspiration for it. I do love the way this turned out. It's probably one of my favorite pieces that I've done so far in the past probably 2 or 3 months. I've been having a really hard time with motivation, you guys, like seriously, and I really want to share um creativity with you guys. That's what I want to do. I love it. It helps me, it helps my soul, it helps my brain. It puts you in another state of mind. I do want to tell you guys that I am using watercolor pencils here, and it's not expensive ones. It's from the $5 store, and I think they were like $3. But that's what I'm using here. Every time you see me grab a pencil, it's a watercolor pencil. And acrylic paint, and a little glazing medium, and water. That's all we've got going on here. I will bring a rag out and start subtracting and blotting. We're doing that, but there's many, many, many layers to this painting. I had fun with it. Like I said, it's one of my favorites, and I hope you guys enjoy watching me create it. Okay, you have a great day. Bye. Hey everybody, listen, I tried to edit this and put music in for you guys in between the narrations, but I can't get it. I'm not a professional video maker, filmographer, whatever. So there's silence in between the narrations. I'm sorry. If you would just stick with it. I sped the video up as fast as I could without it looking wonky. All right. Y'all have a great day. Bye. Okay, if you look at the reference photo right now, you'll see that there's no orange in these flowers. They're just yellow on yellow on yellow. I added the orange in the center of these flowers, which I'll continue to do all throughout the painting, just so there would be some depth, which it could have been um, created with bright yellow and dirty yellow and shadow, but I just thought the orange would look better, so I added it in there. Don't forget, you don't have to go by the book when you're creating something. That's what makes you the artist. You can add and subtract and use any colors that you want. That's just water that's on that brush right now that I'm using. Every time I lay down a line with the watercolor brush, I just go in and soften it up with a wet brush. That's it, just water, nothing else. And that's something else I continue to do throughout the painting. And if you look now, I decided to use two color pencils at one time, so they would blend. Once I started softening, the color would blend to this brighter, lighter green than what was already on there. So it's just a mixing technique, using two at one time instead of one. Going in now and laying down more flowers and brightening up some of the ones that are already there. Now I have two different yellows. I have a darker yellow and a brighter yellow that I'm using in rotation. And again, I'm going in and laying down the orange in the center of the flowers. Okay, right here, you guys, when the camera cuts back on, I'm so sorry. I forgot to hit play. I had it paused and I forgot to cut it back on. Where you see the shadow, the dark green I laid in, all that is very watered down acrylic paint that I used to lay in that. If you look at the reference photo, there's a dark shadow there, right down the, it's not really in the center, but it's straight down the picture. And that's what I was trying to duplicate. And that's just a phthalo, I think I used phthalo green and a touch of titanium white for that. Really watered down, almost like watercolor. Also, there are sky holes that I've created just so I can kind of get a rough idea where I'm going to have my sky holes later. And for that, I used a phthalo blue, I think red shade, and a bunch of titanium white. They're super light. And like I said, it was just to mark where they're going to be later because I know I'm gonna end up having to bring them back out again. They're gonna get lost. I'm trying to hold the pencils and paintbrushes, anything I have really, pencils, paintbrushes, and I'm gonna break out the palette knife in a little while on this. But I try to hold everything toward the end because I don't want to get controlled. I don't want it to be controlled and detailed. Try to stay loose with it. So try to hold it at the very end and just wiggle is basically what I'm trying to do. I'm not trying to actually draw a flower. I'm trying to just put down the idea of a flower and let your brain fill in the rest. Right here, you'll see me lay down lines and then wet it with the brush and then dab it or wipe it off. What I'm doing is I want this painting to build in very thin layers. So I'm laying down a thick line and then I'm softening it up and then I'm laying down another line and I'm softening it up. I want it to build. The whole painting is being created this way in these very soft lines. I don't want any harsh lines. So it looks like I may be, I don't know if the camera's picking up everything, but it looks like I may be wiping all the color away that I'm just laying down, but I'm not. It's leaving a tint. And on that tint, I'm going to build more and more. I'm going to lay down more line and soften and build and take away and build. It's just going to be a continuous cycle all through this painting. That's what gives it the soft look, not the harsh lines. I don't want harsh lines. Okay. I'm laying down paint here. It's more of a glaze than anything. It's very watery. There's a little bit of glazing medium in there, but it's mostly water. There's a lot of water on my brush. I want it to be very thin, just to lay down some color and give some depth to certain areas. Later on, toward the end of the painting, that's when the thicker paint will come in, just at the end. All through the rest of it, it's just very thin layers, like watercolor. I'm just darkening up the center of some of the flowers here. I feel like I got a little lost. I'm just bringing them back with actual paint instead of watercolor pencil. And then I'm brightening up the sides. Trying to bring them back toward the viewer instead of them getting pushed down deep into the painting. I'm trying to bring them back out. So I'm just brightening the edges just a little bit. I like using the corner of this big paintbrush to do a lot of things throughout this painting because it stops me from getting tight. It keeps me loose. It stops me from wanting to focus on detail. Hey everybody, I want to do a quick break-in for this part of the video. I'm showing you another painting that I done when I started painting in the old book that I had. It's the very first one we glued in when we made the reference book, the one with the single tree. The reason I made the whole book to begin with. I'm showing you the first painting. Now that first one, I don't know what I'm doing here, but hold on, give it a second. When I come back, I'm going to show you the first painting. Okay, I wasn't happy with that one. I seen a lot more detail than what I wanted, so I painted it again here, and I cannot decide. I'm much happier with this one, but I cannot decide if I want to take that bush out. That's why I made that little piece of paper to try to mimic what I already had there. And I'm trying to see what it looked like without the bush. I feel like the bush draws attention from the tree, which is supposed to be the focal point. And I'm playing with light against dark for my focal point. That's what I wanted to show you. And now I'm getting back to the original abstract floral that we're working on in this video. Okay. All right. You guys have a great day. Bye. This is the next day, and I'm making a glaze because I want the shadows to come out a little bit more. So I'm using a raw umber, and I'm just making a very watered down glaze, trying to deepen some of the colors that are already there. And if you notice, there was some raw umber on my rag, and it streaked up the painting. Didn't mess it up. I just kind of wiped it and left it like it was. We use it like a shadow, but I'm really laying it over that shadow part because I want to bring that out some. I want it to be a little bit deeper. And then in a few minutes, you'll see me make a yellow glaze to kind of brighten up the rest of the painting. This painting was over a course of like 3 days. I would let it completely dry and then go back in. Okay, and now we broke out the palette knife. This is probably my favorite part of the painting, using a palette knife. I'm going to use it to make some very, not detailed, but bigger and a little, they have a little more shape to them, flowers, throughout the painting. The palette knife is probably my favorite tool as far as this painting goes, next to the big paintbrush. And the flowers are going to be lighter and brighter now because I want them to kind of sit on top of everything. I want to push everything that we've already done to the background. I want it to appear as if it's behind these flowers. So these are going to be bigger and brighter. Video slowed down a bit. I just thought it would be cool to show you guys how fast I was actually painting, going to real time for just a few seconds here. It's nowhere near as fast as what you're watching. It took quite a few days. You've seen me mix a lighter green. I'm gonna go in with that. I love muddy and knockback colors. When I say knockback, I mean, toned down by their complements. Muddy colors and muted colors. That's my favorite. I'm not too fond of the super bright colors. I know a lot of people say, don't use muddy colors. Don't use black from the tube. Don't use white. I do all of that. I do it all. Why? Because I want to. Because you're the artist and you create what you want to create with what you want to create it with. Do what you want to do. Use your imagination. Don't let the gatekeepers stop you. So I love my muddy colors and I will use them. And yes, I'm laying down color and I'm wiping. Laying down color and wiping because we don't want any harsh lines. No wire hangers. No harsh lines. Now I'm going in with the palette knife and raw umber and I'm just laying in lines to represent branches. I'm pulling out some phthalo blue in red shade. We're gonna bring our sky holes back. So I'm doing a dab of phthalo blue and it's super strong. You don't need a lot. And a lot of titanium white. I mean a heap ton of titanium white in that pile. And we're gonna bring our sky holes back. They got lost when I did the glazing technique on there. It got rid of the sky holes. So we're just gonna bring them back and probably add a few that weren't there initially. I don't know yet. I don't know if I'm to that point yet on here, but we're gonna definitely bring them back. And if you notice, I'm grabbing the red, I'm knocking the blue back. I'm toning it down with its complement. It's still bright, but not as bright. Now I'm going in with a much lighter color. I'm not even sure what color I added with it to this. I'm not even sure at this point. But I'm going in with a much lighter color than the yellows we were using at the beginning. And I'm bringing my flowers back out again because they tend to get lost. The more glaze or color you add, it pushes things down. It pushes objects and forms back. So you want to bring them back up to the top so they look like they're sitting in the foreground and you have stuff in the background. So I'm just trying to brighten up some of those foreground flowers. And now I'm spinning it upside down to get a different perspective. I noticed that some of my flowers were pointing in the same direction. Well, most of my flowers are pointing in the same direction. So I spun the painting upside down. I'm going to add more flowers. That way they'll be in a different direction. So they're not all facing the same way. That's a good way to get a second look, a different look at your painting. Turn it upside down and you can get a better perspective of what you need to change or um, go over again. While I'm not trying to be representational with the reference photo in my painting, I am trying to kind of keep the flowers in the general area, the same general area in my painting that they are in the reference photo. Trying to keep them bunched up in the same area, if that makes sense. I hope that makes sense. I don't know. It makes sense in my head. Do try to place the lightest flowers over the shadow part. Trying to play with that light against dark concept. I want the shadow area of this painting to be the focal point. So I try to keep the lightest colors near that shadow. And I hope it works. We'll see. Let me know in the comments if you guys like this painting. It's one of my favorites. Just drop a line for me. I'm spinning the painting back around the way it should be. And I am adding more flowers. Again, that's a little bit lighter than it was a while ago. I'm trying to go lighter and lighter. I don't actually want to hit on white. I just want it to be lighter than the rest of them. And the closer I get to that shadow form, the lighter I want the flowers to be. Now I'm going back over the sky holes one more time, just trying to bring them back out. I want them to pop. Now I'm not happy with what I've done here. I'll go straight across with the sky holes, and I really wish I hadn't done that, but hindsight's 2020. So I will do this on a bigger scale, and I'll probably omit the top sky holes. Okay, right here, I'm taking, again, my large brush, and I'm kind of breaking up those lines I put in, so they're not, and I know I've used this word over and over in this video, harsh. No harsh lines. So I'm taking it and kind of just using some of the color to break those up. Want some broken lines, soft lines. I'm sorry if you hear knocking, that's my dog scratching. She has some skin issues. We're still working out a way to help her. And I'm going over and over several of the lines. Okay, if you hung in this far in the video, thank you so much. I appreciate all your views, and I appreciate everybody that subscribes, hits the like button. Thank you, thank you. If you haven't done so, please do so. Please hit the subscribe button. I'm trying to grow this tiny channel, and I cannot do it without you guys. Okay? I've got this little seed, and I need you guys to help me just let it grow. Okay, thanks for watching, and I will see you guys later. Bye.